Hello there, you beautiful people. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. Let's get straight into this video. I just waited a little while to put this video out there. As you probably know, I used to work for a company called The Range. The Range DHL. If you know Stafford very well, that is the old Argos distribution centre up by M6 Junction 13. Yeah, so as I say, about 6 weeks ago, I got let go. Which I was pretty pissed off about. Yeah, to say the least. So I'll give you a little backstory of what happened, okay? So let's go. I'm running out of breath here because I'm a bit nervous saying this. So what it is, so let's go all the way back to the 4th of March 2024. Working with a brilliant agency called Job and Talent. Can't fault them, not their fault with what's actually happened. But I'll be, I've messed that up. Yeah, so I got this call to go to this job for e-commerce department for The Range. I thought, yeah, it's going to be small items, but that's by the by. They got on with it. So the 4th of March, we got our induction in. So we all got into room, did the usual induction things, and then said, yeah, we'll get you in for a start date. They're still setting the department up. So you might just have to have a few days away or work somewhere else other than the warehouse, which is fine because I haven't had a job for a little while. So then eventually things come to a thing saying, yeah, okay, we've still got problems with the system. We've hooked everything up, but the systems just aren't communicating with each other. So we want you in though. So they stuck me on containers for a few days, wrapping pallets, which I didn't like because of my balance issues from the stroke I had years ago, and I don't think I'll ever recover from that. People saying to me, yeah, why don't you like wrapping pallets? Because I get dizzy as anything, and if I get dizzy as anything, I end up nearly throwing up. So that's by the by. So eventually, on the 11th of March, we 11th of March, we get a start date and everything. We start doing really well, getting orders out. They'll realise that the big bulky stuff, like their Lexington wardrobes, Bexley, stuff like that. Basically big hefty stuff. Thought, yeah, just roll with the punches. And I got a job of dealing with sort of stock control, from the main warehouse into our warehouse, like a little mini warehouse within a warehouse. A few egos to start with there, meaning that some people resented us being in there in the first place, which was a bad thing to do. Not a good start to a relationship. Don't worry, I'm not going to mention any names because that wouldn't be fair on anybody, and also come back on me, which is not good. So we start, and then it was somebody's, because our relationship to start with was a bit fractious, some people not wanting us to be in the same warehouse. So then it was somebody's bright idea, change us from yellow high-vises to purple high-vises. As if that doesn't smack, that's a right smack in the face, because it shows that, yeah, we know you don't want us here. We're just going to make ourselves stand out even more, like a bunch of blinking prize turkeys. Come and chop my head off first, because I'm the biggest turkey of them all. I didn't like that very much, but as you say, you just roll with the punches. So months go on, I'm happy doing the job, making sure stock comes in, is given to the pickers and the packers on time, like that. And then one day I was just taken off. Thought, yeah, we're changing things around a bit. You're going to be stuck on picking for a while. Oh yeah, and I also had an interview for an admin job there, which I thought, yeah, great one. And then I got a thing called admin development, which means they were going to develop me into the admin role, and just say the person who they gave it to wasn't very good at the job. A lot of people didn't like this person, but I didn't do it on that. I judged somebody by their ability to do something. I don't mean they have to be 100% brilliant at it, but at least have a go and do the job properly, which they didn't do. And that's why I resented this person, and I resent him to this day because of the friction that was caused within the department, as if this is not going to cause friction as it is. Yeah, so then it comes to July 2024. A certain individual higher up in DHL decides, oh, we're not very busy. I'm not fully behind your department, so we're going to shut you down. That's what they did. So they tried to put me in a different department on the following week, which I tried to do, but as soon as they said it was lollop training, I just walked. I know that's not a clever thing to do because at the time it could have got me into one heck of a lot of trouble. Maybe that was a catalyst for what came afterwards. So 3 weeks later, because I'm thinking I've walked out here, so that's going to be a big black mark against me. So I thought nothing of it, and suddenly I had a phone call back from Job and Talent to say, yeah, you've got your job back. What? Got my job back in e-commerce? They must have really championed you to come back. So I thought nothing of it. Yeah, we'll come back. A few more familiar faces came back as well. 3 weeks later. Some people didn't expect to come back, which was all good. So I'm not going to give any names here. So yeah, so we got back. I sort of got back into my old role of making sure stock was getting backwards and forwards. And also I was getting more into the admin side of things. So up came an opportunity for the admin role again. So me and this other, but unbeknownst to me, what they had done, the person at Job and Talent were tasked with finding another admin to replace this admin person who wasn't very brilliant at the job. So they moved this person off to the main warehouse. So which made it a lot happier atmosphere. I'm not going to go into what was happening in the department, but by the by. So yeah, so unbeknownst to me, they'd already got somebody in. I thought, hang on a minute. I got interviewed for the job previously as admin development. So I go back to my agency, then they put a halt to it saying, oh, we didn't realise this. There was a bit of miscommunication here because management had changed at the time. So then, luckily for me, this person who had offered it to didn't want to do it anyway. He decided he didn't want to come from where he was working. So there was my perfect opportunity. I was a shoo-in for the job and I got it. But because I did something foolish, because as you know, I'm predominantly on TikTok, and I know the rule says you shouldn't have phones on the warehouse floor. I didn't. So in a moment, because it was after hours at work, after the main hours we'd already finished, what we decided to do was, because I just hit 10k followers on TikTok, we decided to celebrate, didn't we? So somebody videoed me celebrating. We just sat there celebrating. Yeah, come and join me on a special live stream on TikTok for my 10k follower celebration. And I stupidly said to the person, forward me the video and I'll put it on TikTok, not thinking that it was going to be against their social media policy, which I didn't even mention the range at the time. I didn't even mention them. It's just that I happened to be in the supervisor's office, which isn't in the main warehouse. I suppose in a way it is, but yeah. So I thought nothing of it. I let my guard down. We'd had a brilliant week. I thought, yeah, let's celebrate. So that was many months before this interview came up. This was a few months before that interview came up. And then it turned around that, yeah, they were impressed, they'd given me the job. But then the person from the agency comes to me and said, you want the good news? Yeah, you'd got the job. Bad news is somebody higher up in the range had seen your TikTok. There's nothing disparaging. All it was is the setting I'd done it in. They said if I'd done it in the locker room or in the canteen, it would have been fine. So that was a stab in the back. That was then. Yeah, my fault for being an idiot. And let's just say I went into a spiral for a few days, not being able to sleep, crying myself to sleep, literally. So then I decided, sorry, I'm going to fight this. And I did. And they gave the guy at the agency saying, why did you let him appeal? Because I have the right to appeal. No matter what somebody says higher up in a business, at the end of the day, that's just a job title. And if they can wield power like that in such a way where to the detriment of others, then they're not a real leader. They never have been. They just know how to say yes at the right times. So even though I deleted it as soon as I was told, I said, no, too late. We're going to give you a warning on your record. I thought that was a slap in the face, as long as I wasn't saying anything derogatory about the business, which I wasn't. So then, yeah, so I thought, yeah, I'll take it on the chin. Unofficially, I'm still admin development, so I can still do the admin role, sort of, but not on a official basis. And then, roll on a few months, I heard rumours on the grapevine, we're getting a new admin in. I thought, hang on a minute, that's not nice. Keep me as admin development and then let me interview for the job again. I thought, this is not right. Then lo and behold, they get another admin in. Okay, that's great. I'm still doing certain things. I'm still doing the stock control sort of thing. And then we roll forward to probably the end of March this year. Or is it the end of March? Yeah, February, March this year. I suddenly get taken off doing stock. They've got somebody else in. Well, this person started with the agency. I think it was per temps or somebody or another person. They said, what it is, they got this other person and he was picking and doing loading and stuff. And they were getting this other person. Suddenly, this other person was booking stock in. I thought, hang on a minute, isn't that what I'm doing? Isn't that what I'm doing? So I thought, this is a bit weird. I'll just let it go because I need some help. Yeah, lifting things. And instead of and then it got to a point where another bunch of new starters came in, doing the picking, etc. And then they got this other person over to do the stock as well. I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on here? There's something not right here. So then suddenly I'm told, oh, such and such person's got a better idea has got an idea that we're going to go with. They're going to do it for a while. Never thought anything of it. And next minute I know I'm taken off it. Oh, you can go picking. You can go and slog your guts out and get another stroke. You can go picking. Thought, what the hell? So it transpires I was basically pushed out, which really did piss me off. Yeah, because I was airing my concerns there, and then probably got them thinking he's not happy. Well, of course I'm not happy. I've helped build that blinking department up from nothing. At one point, it's just me and this other guy who'd been there the longest. So I'd been there in 16 months in total. And fair play to the guy. The one guy gets promoted, fair enough. He gets promoted into the position of coordinator because the other guy, I don't know what happened, why he got removed. I don't have a clue. I'm not going to speculate on that. And everything was going right for a couple of months. Yeah, for a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. And then the guy from the agency, Job and Talent, comes to me, texts me and says, I think it was something like the 3rd of June, comes to me and sends me a text message saying, okay, they plan on giving out permanent contracts, DHL permanent contracts. If you were offered one, would you be interested? So I text back and say, yeah, I'll be interested, even though I had my reservations because from a financial perspective, I couldn't go a month without any pay. That was my only reservations. I thought, yeah, get my foot back in the door, get back to what I was doing. And then lo and behold, literally 2 days later, I get a text message on the Saturday from the agency. Could you phone me, please? It's to discuss DHL. I thought, oh, right, this is probably an update on the permanent contract situation. So, yeah, so a phone number says, unfortunately, I've got some bad news for you. They've decided that volumes have dropped well off and you're one of the people to go. I thought, what the hell? So how the heck can we go from me being potentially offered a permanent contract to being out the door? Because what I think has happened, the same person who made that decision at exactly the same point last year spat the dummy out. This person knows who they are. You can come at me, man, because I don't care. You're just hiding behind a job title. You're just hiding behind a job title. You probably are a decent person outside of a warehouse situation, but I'm judging you by how you are in a warehouse. So I think that this same person has spat the dummy out again because mentions of permanent contracts were made, and he obviously came up with some bullshit excuse about the volumes, because the volumes were picking up actually. So it turns out it's a small world out there. So it turns out I say to this one person, yeah, I just lost my job, within the space of 48 hours of me saying I could get a potential full-time contract. And a small world is it gets back to this one other person who works there, who happens to be another manager there, says, we have no idea what's going on here. We've got plenty of work for the e-commerce department. I don't know what's going on. So I think emails are exchanged, etc. And I don't hear anything because the agency guy's busy. And the agency person comes back to me and says, okay, let's get a start date for the other side of the warehouse. And I said, hang on a minute, is this to do with lollop training? And he said, yeah, potentially. No, don't want to do that. Is there anything else I can do in the main warehouse? So I said, oh, let me get back to you. This other department might have work. So I waited for a couple of days and I thought, because I've got nothing back, I thought, no, it's gone. It's gone. It's done and dusted. So fast forward. So from that point on, I've been off work for 6 weeks, and then I start at this new job with iForce. So that's a full catch up of what's happened. And basically, yes, I did something that didn't help my cause. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't disparaging against the company, but as I say, I've just come out and said something about a certain individual, but I've not mentioned any names, because if you think this video is about you, then that's on you, not me. I just wanted to get this off my chest of basically I got stabbed in the back and got pushed out because other people's favourites came in. I could do another video saying how poorly certain things have been run, but that's not my position to say that. I'm just giving it you from a perspective that I just didn't roll over and have my tummy tickled and said, oh, bless, there are plenty of other jobs out there. You don't realise the amount of unpaid overtime I did for that place because I loved the job. I love that job. Yeah. Of course, at the end, I hated it, but I'd helped build that up. Not that I think I got too complacent in the end, because I did do a video about complacency kills, because I got complacent, got caught with my trousers down my ankles, thinking, yeah, I've built something, helped build something really good here, only to be stabbed in the back. So at the end of the day, I have no loyalty to any job whatsoever. If that's the detriment to this new job, then I'm just going to say it out there. Yeah, so there you go. That's the history of me and the range DHL. So yeah, so this will probably get me into trouble with them, but I don't work for you. I never have worked for you. I've worked for the agency. So that's my take on my time at DHL The Range. It was brilliant to start with, and at the end, nah. No, just, that was the, yeah. Because I thought me potentially getting a permanent contract in that department would have been my path back in, but nah. I've been stabbed in the back too many times now, and it's finished. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and smash that bell icon and select all to be notified every time we upload a new video. And I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.